both in terms of the quantity and also quality aspect. So current research is working on this sourcane with the application of the remote sensing in the precision farming. And regarding is also worked application of the remote sensing in the control of the yellow mosaic disease. So it's a YLD, yellow leaf disease, is again due to the virus only. So that occurs almost on all the crops. Recently, it also, not recently, some more than 5 years back, it affected almost the papaya. So it is again due to the virus. So we actually mapped the disease occurrence under different crops using this remote sensing and also other the innovative tools. And also he has published more than, from the research he undertook, he has more than 75 papers, and also conference also he has attended more than 30 conferences, and he has written a very good number of books, more than 7 books, and also book chapters, more than 50 chapters. So he has having a very good rich experience in the knowledge and experience in the research experience in the field of remote sensing, and particularly the precision farming and also other the soil fertility and also crop nutrition. And awards and fellowship also. He's received TNAU Professor Rangasamy Award in the year 89, and also ICR Award for interdisciplinary research. He also obtained in the year 2005 and 6. Apart from that, he has also given many guest lectures in different forums. So with this background, with the great immense pleasure, I would like to invite with Dr. C. Palanisamy, external examiner, to talk about this fuzzy logic, particularly in respect of the agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you very much for nice introduction, Dr. Sanmasundram sir. And I'm greatly thankful to the alma mater for inviting me to give this lecture. Actually, my subject is soil science, but I was a little bit learned in CPCRA for coconut yield prediction model. I asked to work on coconut yield prediction modeling. So I try to learn neural networks and fuzzy logic. Actually, nowadays you know that AI and ML is a catchword now. But I did this work in 2004 to 2008. This I have done it. Generally, I will talk about a little fuzzy logic and artificial neural networks, how it works. Then one example, what I did in coconut yield prediction, what I did, that I will see. This logically, but the fuzzy logic, how it it's what is fuzzy logic and where did it begin. So everything will have a beginning, how it works. Then it's how it is fuzzy logic and neural networks, how it interlinked or it is different, and control systems. And for fuzzy logic in other fields, mostly fuzzy logic is used in machines and other things. And you know that all the washing machines or your ACR will say that intelligent system, that is fuzzy machine is there. So fuzzy control system. But how it will be applicable to agriculture means, you know that agriculture, mostly there is no discrete to this one. You know that the boundary, you say that soil is deep or shallow means how shallow. So you say that more than 1 feet or less than 1 feet is shallow. Then we say that 1.5 feet also shallow. When you say the deep soil, then it is more than 3 feet or 4 feet, then only we will say the deep soil. But in between, there is a Boolean approach, either presence or absence. You know that most of you might have seen in soil survey this one and suitability classification, mostly Boolean approach. Either deep soil 0 or soil pH is more than 8.5, you say that that is alkali. So if it is 8.49, if it is not alkali, you can't say that there is a in that classification some sort of fuzziness is there. Then how to quantify and how to make it understandable to the machine? That is where the fuzzy means not clear, distinct, and not precious. It is a blurred this one. You can't say any boundary for that blurred one. and it is a form of knowledge representation suitable for notions that cannot be defined precisely, but which depend upon their contexts. So your knowledge, you know that simplest example is we say that slow or fast, but in between there will be a slow or slowest, slow, fast or fastest. These categories would be there. And again, and this first it started in 1965, and the MLs within 1980 he first started marketing the expert systems. And this you see that fuzzy logic and the neural networks both are interlinked. The neural networks both use it to create behavioral systems where we can't qualify by the relation. Then we have to go for a neural networks. It will have its own arrangements and other things. If you able to quantify the any relationship, then very well you can go with any linear models or non-linear models. But you could not quantify that, then we have to go for neural networks. It is fuzzy logic provides more efficient and resourceful way to solve the control systems, particularly temperature control and the ABS. You know that in vehicles. And if you temperature control, particularly for the heater fan speed, these are all the system of fuzziness. We'll say that the humidity and the temperature, you say that the 3 to 4 three humidity ranges, low, medium, high, and cold, cool, and warm, hot. So what could be the fan speed? So this some sort of fuzziness is included, and truth table is prepared this way. Most of the control system in any appliances works. But if you say the benefit of fuzzy logic and control other control systems, so designing the control using fuzzy rules, that is the main thing. But it is another control system, it is discrete. When it is 0 or 1, it will work or it will not start, like that it is. But in fuzzy rules, we can frame the fuzzy rules where it can start. But not only for one particular parameter, you can introduce more of parameters like characters in soil, this one or any this one yield relating parameters you can introduce. That is based on your knowledge and your imagination. You have to, we can include those things. So mostly it is used for hybrid modeling, business and expert systems. This is used. And other, if you come to neural networks, it is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. These are all the 3 types of learning methods for neural networks. But anything we have to train it. The history that artificial neural networks started from 1940s, but 1970 Webos came to introduce the back propagation algorithm for some algorithm to learning sequences. And it is more like multi-layer protons and other radial basis functions. So many things in between had, but now finally artificial neural network with the back propagation is stands now. Then this work is continuously going on. And this set of major aspects are parallelly distributed models and processing units. It includes and activation and you know that it is how our mind works. It will be same way. It will be mathematically modeled. So if you say that see the difference between standard computers and neural networks, so then it will be fast processing in computers and reliable units and static infrastructure. But neural networks, highly parallel processing power we need, and slow processing, unreliable units, and dynamic infrastructure. That if you see that in simplest example, if you say the computer means whatever you get, you know the output, what it could be there like. But in neural networks, it will be different. It will have its own this one. If you take into Annapurna Sambar from last 40 years, 83 to now, it will be it is same. But in our home Sambar will be there, daily it will be different. That's what neural network. Some problems such as character recognition and prediction feature of the system requires massively parallel and adaptive processing. And the biological, this one you know that something you see or something you heard, and you will come to the conclusion, and you don't know how we have come to the conclusion. So that's what neural work, our neural mind works. Building blocks of any neural networks is neurons. Then input, we need an input, and that from that neuron it will activate, and it will give the output signal. The information is transmitted as a series of electric pulses like spikes and frequency and phase. And mostly biological systems, there are more than 10,000 neurons are available, and they are using continuously. It is a figurative representation of human mind. So this shows how our mind works. Ventricles, nucleus, and synapses, axons are there, and this will be the same way will be used in our artificial neural network inputs and weights and processing, and the process elements. It will have the functions, activation functions, and its output. Output can be single or it can be multi also. So this is all the you can get the input from many neurons to one single this one, and from that output also to single or many neurons it will go. This is the input and processing output. It is the simplest way with a single output neuron. And it can be in between the output and input, you can put it in many layers, and each layer will have a connection. You can make it connection, disconnection, and activation, and that also output also it will be the same way. And this the mathematical way it has been. I mean, now working neural network will be like this: input and weights we have to calculate, and we have to submit, and it will output will be there. In that output, like that, so many layers will be there. Finally, output what we can learn from that. So any compatible functions in appropriate way, we can neural network topology. The neural network, it is anything. It is a mathematical one, but our human input is the designing the topology and the learning process. That's what our this one is needed. And it is mostly it is a trial and error process. So continuous trial, and you do one trial, but for initial weights randomly we take it and evaluate it and adjust the weight mathematically how it will be. Initial weight are small random numbers, and the transfer functions, different functions are different part of this one. You can say an error estimation. Adjusting weights with different algorithms, number of neurons and data representation, and size of training sets. These are all of the main aspects we need to see. The transfer function means linear output is proportional to the total weight output, and threshold level. When it reaches the threshold, then it will trigger output. Then non-linear, the output varies continuously but not linearly as the input changes. These are all of the transfer functions. And you know that RMSE, we want everywhere we want to see the your goodness of it. We need to know the root mean square error. We have to calculate that, and adjusting weight to all possible weights. And here we I have followed the backpropagation network. So it is an example supervised learning. The backpropagation network is supervised learning. Error at each layer is in average evaluated error. Then hidden layer has been backpropagated. And this the algorithm where you can see the new weights, how you can adjust and you can make it based on the error factor, then expected output and actual output, and you can calculate the delta n per new weight adjustment. Then number of many neurons, higher accuracy, lower risk of overfitting. In these terms, they are grandmotherly fitting. They used to say in neural network balance. And the new neurons you can add or you can exit, and lower accuracy, and if it is inability to learn all the in underlying relations, and the optimum number should be there. Data representation, if is any data can be processed for any, this one can be, you can make it modified to input, and you can transfer to transferring the output data also. So try by this one, no one fits all formula, but fitting and good training set we need. But in general, a good training set is samples, but represent the general population. And samples must contain number of each class, and it should be Each class must contain a wide range of variation, and it should be devoid of noise. And size of training sets is related to number of hidden neurons. So these are all the learning diagram pedagogies for that any neural network topology, that supervised learning, unsupervised reinforcement learning. Supervised learning means you know that classification or whatever output you know, and the input you have to give, and we have to see that it should match with the output. Unsupervised learning, it is we don't know the output, like our data mining or data clustering algorithms and all. It is unsupervised learning. You know the data, some thousands of data, then how to group it. That is what clustering and compression means. Reinforcement learning means the weight adjusting directly to the related to error, that reinforcement learning, and it is randomness is put into that. Mostly that SVMs, support vector machines, and MLs and are based on the reinforcement learning. Some application areas we can mostly used in the examples and other things are seen in non-agriculture. And how it is used in agriculture means if you know that unknown situation and model the complex functions, you don't know the relationship and ease of use, and already once you program it, means you can use it for any situation and anywhere. Then disadvantage is it is forgets and not exact, and complexity of the network, that is the disadvantage, and you need a lot of computational power. One of the example what I did is neurosystem for coconut yield prediction, which I told earlier, then how to predict the coconut yield. And that time we started the one coconut simulation model. Before that, we thought because it is a long duration crop and simulation is quite difficult to capture all the functions. Then we thought that okay, we'll go a shortcut and we'll try on this. So this yield data, what we did is consecutive years of for 10 years individual palm yield coconut, and in that we have selected 5 farms as a output layer, and input layers daily climatic variables like rainfall, mean air temperature, relative humidity, sunshine hours, open pen evaporation, and this has been collected from a nearby field. It is actually from not in Kasaragod, it is near Kidu, that is Subramania, you may be knowing. Those area, we had a seed farm, from that only we have taken this. And you know that it is a high rainfall zone, sometimes we may not get all the parameters because of that, then we used the missing value calculation WEPP method. And each based on that rainfall, temperature, and other, this one we calculated the soil moisture deficit. Actually, before start of this one, 6 months before you start the soil moisture deficit, this calculation, then when you start your calculation after 6 months, means then that rainfall and other things it comes, means then it will work out perfectly. This what literature also says. And you know that how to, you have to estimate the actual evapotranspiration from the potential evapotranspiration. And this the fuzzy, first we parameters, we know that, then the parameters, how you have to go for the fuzzy membership function. This the fuzzy membership function I have used. And I used the multi-layer feed-forward neural network has been used for coconut yield prediction, providing the input-output training sets and minimizing the objective function. That is, objective function is error minimization. 60% of the data what I have collected used for the training, and 20% for test, and another 20% for the evaluation. And the backpropagation algorithm is implemented in Visual C. And input data normalized. Actually, these things take into the only normalized 0 to 1 only it used to take. Then normalize it to 0.1 to 0.9. Since we are using the logistic activation function, so everything has been normalized to 0.1 to 0.9. This is a membership function description, that temperature means you know that coconut seed fruit set is affected if temperature goes below 15 degrees centigrade. And relative humidity optimum is 60 to 95%. If it is less than 60, affects the stomatal opening. And more than 95 means then pest and disease occurrence will be there. Then sunshine hours, if it is minimum requirement is 4 hours, if it less than 4 hours, it affects the coconut growth. And the soil moisture deficit, you know that 50% of the available moisture is good for optimum for any crop. So based on this, this coefficient A and C has been decided, and you know that these are functions. Each this one daily, this one we have calculated for the particular month, and it has been accumulated and divided by the number of days. Get a one value, membership value for that each parameter. We have taken coconut piece yield. If you take into this inflorescence initiation to fruit setting, fruit harvest, normally it takes around 36 to 40 months. That's why we have taken 36 months previous data. If you are using this month, this year's yield data, we have to see the previous 4 years climate, how it will be. 3 years, 4 years climate, how it would be. So based on that only, that's why in our perennial crops, any experiment not less than 5 years work has to be done. Then only we'll get a response. Particularly for fertilizer response and all, coconut it takes around 5 years to give yield response. And this the membership functions like temperature if it goes, and when it is extreme also it is not there, and RH also same, and sunshine hours more than 4 hours it really optimum. Then it is slowly it reduces up to 12 this one, and available soil moisture also 50 is the optimum. Then both the sides it will be less. So based on like that only we have done it, and the number of epochs and these iterations, 10 epochs and 20 iteration, it was good, and hidden layers with the 2 hidden layer and 1 input, 2 hidden and output, totally 4 layers, and 2 hidden layers will have a first hidden layer 180 nodes and the second hidden layer 60 nodes, and the output is with 5 palms. That is the output. This one in the out of 5, 3 are regular bearing and 2 palms are alternate bearing. In perennial crops, will sometimes we come up with some palms will give alternate bearers. So when we compare, then the yield, coconut yield predicted was higher with 98% accuracy. It could able to predict from that outside the training set. This is what we have done. Actually, this what we did is this program now it is also used. Mostly Kasaragod area and the other this one's monsoon season, lightning effect will be there. We'll have each treatment 6 palms. Sometimes end of 5 years time, sometimes we will end up with only 1 or 2 palms because of lightning. This 1 or 2 palms will go. So if you know the history of that palm, then how it will yield, some we can able to predict those things, treatment effect and other things. So this can be now also it is used in our institute in CPCRI. That's in brief about neural network and fuzzy logic. Hope I did well. Yeah, field crop also we can do. Thing is, we have to see for 4 months what are the parameters, input parameters we have to decide. So you know that mostly it is perennial crop is affected by climate of each this one, and I accumulated to 1 month, but here we have to go for daily annual crops, means 3 months, 4 months crop means. But here also because this is annual crops, already simulation models are mechanistic simulation models are available. That will be more robust than this one. We need not go for this because perennial crops a lot of this one, and modeling simulation modeling is very difficult. So we meant for a way. It is better anyway. It is better than the empirical models, statistical correlation regression model. It is better than that, but slightly shorter than the simulation models. That's why in annual crops not much is there in and mostly perennial crops. It is just like prediction model. One thing is other this one linear, non-linear this one. Sometimes it is not well captured, and this means it will capture almost. No. 50% moisture. This one is from our input. That and all already available knowledge. So yeah. So coconut needs minimum 4 hours of sunshine hours. But if you see in Kerala that monsoon season, entire June, July, you will get around 6 to 7 days only daybreak. Otherwise, it is mostly cloudy. That's why this 4 hours, this one has been taken as this one, and it is already by the physiologist well established fact. And and 50% moisture level and RH, and you know that irrigation is 150%. This and all already available knowledge. And that how to quantify it? If it is 50%, okay. If it is 55 or less, if like our we did, I mean, I think, and you did in that decision support system. Low, medium, high, they have linearized. No, low means this in between low to medium, they have linearized. Otherwise, medium is 100%, low is 20% extra. But in between, earlier it was not there, but in DSS we have linearized, no, like that it is. That membership function we can decide. That is for entire state or farm average means it is very, I mean, it will be more ambiguity will be there. That's why I started with farm, individual farm. But it can be done for that area. Inputs, yeah. Yeah. Please, you know, sir, 36 months. 36 months daily this one, and it has accumulated to 1 year. Yield to predict. Only for predicting the yield. Yes. Predict the yield. For we take, I took weather parameter for 10 years, but the prediction is for only 7 years, because first 3 years you won't get the, I mean, fourth year only will get the yield, and fourth year yield data is correlated with previous 3 years weather parameters. And that is, if you know that now climate models are available, if that we have to keep it as an input, then we can predict. Predict. Now, only thing is we have to give the, we know the actual value up to 24. Then what could be the next year that climate models they are giving? So we can put that. No, that time only algorithm I could understand the ANN back propagation only I could understand. Convolution, because that time it was not well established. It was done in 2005 or 6 time. Convolution now only it has come. And also algorithm in that it is not clear that time. Back propagation is study, and that time many literatures are available, and that time back propagation is the top AN and this one. Convolution is one type of, this I did myself. See, I know something about C programming, I did myself, but it is many add-ons are available in Excel. You put the ANN for Excel, so many, this one is there. Just you put the input, and it will give you standardize. You give the what are the how many new input layer, how many nodes, output how many nodes, and interlayer. You how many interlayers you need, and each layer how much you want. If you give that input, and it gives automatically. Now it is available. You need not know about the algorithm, whatever it is. So now the add-ons in Excel are available. Or otherwise, MATLAB it is there. MATLAB. I don't know MATLAB is available, but it is open source. CNN, Excel means it is open source. Put all are equal, but you know the second and the third layer, what it is, we don't know. So it is, as per my knowledge, first that we start with the randomness with equal weightage only, but it will based on that iterations. Then each epoch is 200 iterations. So out of the 10 epochs, which is gives the best fitting or less RMSE, that I took it, but we don't know what it is. This is the lack, but disadvantage of this one. So once you know the how much weight you have to give, then you can go for other methods. You don't know what to, then this. Okay, if you have a letter also, you can come and meet me in SBI.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your enlightening lecture, sir. To students, I would like to tell that sir has been, sir, even when we were there, when sir was studying here and working here, sir is a person of a few words, but large output. So like that, he has done this work even long time back, but only nowadays we are talking about this AI and the neural network and other things. So you can imagine when resources were less, even at that time, sir has been working on that. And so some of the students who are interacting with me at the back, they said that they would like to have an hands-on experience with you, sir, some training like on this aspect, because these aspects when we publish, we get in NAS rated journals, more than even 12 we get publications. So how far the students can use this concept with their existing research work? Is there any possibility, sir? Thank you, sir. Thank you for that gesture. And students, you can now make use of opportunity. And then the flyer also, we have given the corresponding details of sir, who is very close to us. Is the neighboring institute. With this, I would like to thank the university, the Dean, School of Postgraduate Studies, Professor in the Department of Soil Science and Agriculture Chemistry, and the staff and students of the Department of Soil Science and Agriculture Chemistry, Coimbatore. And also, sir, we have online participants also from various campuses of TNAU. I thank all of you for having joined us in this lecture. Online participants, do you have any questions, interactions, please? If any? I think no, sir. So at this juncture, I thank everyone for this wonderful session, and a special thanks to you, sir, for accepting this in spite of your busy schedule. You have also been here for the defendant's viva of the PhD scholar. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.